Hey there, if you want to quickly increase trust, connection, and likability everywhere you communicate with prospects and clients, you're in the right place. You may know that I recently launched my brand new virtual training program called the Emotionally Engaging Advisor. Emotionally engaging advisors master two critical skill sets. The first is learning how to become what I call a crazy good storyteller. And the second is learning how to speak in what I call transformational or results-driven language. I've compiled a list of questions I've gotten from advisors and industry leaders over the past few months. And so I've created this video series to answer those questions for you. So the question we're going to be looking at today is, well, how do I find my why story? In the last video, you learned that one of the stories that you should be incorporating into everything you do is what I call your why story. Your why story is why you do what you do and why you care about the people or the person you're talking to or connecting with. And so one of the easiest places to find your why story is to start going back through your life. And what I recommend you do is go back through every 5 years of your life. So you might start with 0 to 5 and then go 5 to 10, 10 to 15 years. You get it. But look at a 5-year period of time and really critically ask yourself, did something happen in my life, good or bad, during this time period that contributed to me doing the work that I do today as an advisor? And if so, that can be the genesis for your why story. So let me give you 2 examples. One of my clients, Mike, when he was 17 years old, his dad left them. His dad left and he was the head of the household. And he remembers watching his mom month after month crying, going, I don't know how we're going to make it. And that made a big impression on him as a young man. And so that's one of the reasons why he became an advisor. And that's one of the reasons why he loves helping people make sure they're protected and making sure they totally understand their financial picture, because he never wants anyone to go through what he went through. Contrast that with my client, Mark. He grew up working in his dad's office. His dad was a financial advisor. And so from 2 years old up until college and through college, he was working in his dad's office. And so he tells a story about how watching his dad greet clients and help clients and be a part of their life was so meaningful to him that when he decided what he wanted to do with his life, he said, I want to help people just like dad did. So those 2 advisors got their stories from childhood experiences, and you might have a childhood experience as well. But you might not. You might be many of my advisor clients who say, you know, Deirdre, I just fell into this. So what do I do? Well, if you just fell into this business, that's okay. But it's likely that you don't stay here because it's the easiest business in the world, right? I mean, you have to love what you're doing to be successful at this business. And what I have found is that many of my advisor clients fell into the business, but they stay in the business because of the clients that they've helped. And so what I want to invite you to do when you're looking for why you do what you do is think about the clients that you just get out of bed for each day. Think about the clients that light you up, that fire you up, the situations you've been in where you've really been able to make a difference in their life. That can be the basis for your why story. One of my clients, Frank, he said, Deirdre, I got into this business and I was good at it, but I hated it. For the first, I think it was maybe 5 years, I hated it. And it wasn't until he had a particular experience, a very moving experience with 2 clients, that this turned into a mission for him. And now he's been in the business successfully for 30 years. But that interaction and helping these 2 clients with a particular situation is his why story for why he does what he does. So your why story can either be something that happened to you in your childhood, something that happened to you now or in your adult life. It doesn't just have to be in your childhood. It could be something that happened last week. Or if there's nothing that comes to mind personally, it could be about clients you've helped. And here's what I want to really encourage you to do. Start telling your why story everywhere you communicate, because what you're going to find like my client Susan did. My client Susan got up and at an event introduced herself by telling her why story. And this was an event her firm had been putting on for 12 years. They never brought in business directly from this event. By the time the event was over, she had 5 people come up to her and say, can we meet? And 3 quickly became clients. And it's because she told her why story to introduce herself instead of the typical, hi, I'm Susan with XYZ Financial, blah, 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 blah. Many of my clients are finding that once they incorporate their why story, they are very quickly increasing that trust, that credibility, that likability, that connection, and they're quickly gaining business. And when you include your why story, the same will happen for you. I know we've just scratched the surface here, so if you want more great tips like this and want a greater understanding of how to find and craft your why story, then please check out my free training. It's a brand new webinar I created just for you, 75 minutes long. Click on the link in the text of this post and it'll take you right to the webinar registration page. Until the next video, be blessed and make it a crazy good day.